Hey, it's always a good day when business walks in the door. I have this post, and the owner needs a hole drilled in the center of this, and it welded like such. So we're going to help a brother out. Stand by. Alright, first thing we're going to do, X marks the spot. I'm going to drill a hole right there, some kind of a drainage hole. So here's the setup that we're going to use. I've got a 3/32 electrode. I'm going to use a number 8 cup. And I don't have a gas lens or anything on like that. And we're going to put a tack weld on each side, and then we'll take the flapper wheel and we'll grind these little corners off. I don't know when he's going to get to this project, but I know that he's got little kids around, and I don't want one of his kids to like hit themselves on that corner, so we'll do that for him. And we're just using a number 40 flapper wheel. Since they have cut this plate almost to the exact dimensions of this, I don't have a little shelf to pile my bead up on. We're going to give this one side a shot with just a plain fusion weld and see if that gets us where we need to be. I'm at 125 amps, which should be enough. All right, that's not bad. Let's see, what am I using? 2% thoriated tungsten. That's the red stripe. And I am at probably 18 or 20. Up. Let me make sure I'm focused. Keep forgetting manual focus on this big camera here. Trying to think. It sounds like I've got a It's almost like I got a breeze again. I don't even know how that's possible. So I have one fan blowing air out of the other side of the shop. All right, let's take a look at what we did. Which wasn't a whole terrible lot. So my understanding is this is going to go in the ground and hold some sort of a post. It'll go in vertically with this at the bottom. This is the drain hole for rainwater, I guess. The only deal we had was right here on this corner, and I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It was just, it's like I had a breeze coming from somewhere. I think I'm going to have to take a better look at where I'm positioning this welder, because I think that even with my even with my little board blocking that, I'm wondering if maybe I'm not getting some air movement up, and it's not very much. It's just enough to blow the shielding gas off of it. So anyways, short, quick job. I am into this now for 45 minutes, but I'll tell you, probably a third of that is cameras. So if somebody just walked in and said, hey, I need this done, it's a half-hour job. That's what I have into it as far as time. I don't have very much gas into it at all. I didn't even use filler rod. I just used a fusion weld. I used a little bit of a flapper disc. Used a little bit of one of those 3M pads to just clean the mill scale off of it. So material-wise, I'm not into it very much. I'm not going to tell you what to price it at. I'm not going to tell you, what you should charge, because your costs are different than mine. And if you're trying to make money in the business, you have to know what your costs are. Because if you charge somebody $30 and you end up using $28 worth of supplies, it's hard. That dog don't hunt. So that's what I've got into it. So now you have to think. You have to sit back there and think. Now, if I'm going to MIG weld this, I've got gas and I've got wire cost involved in that. You have to think about that. How much wire would I have used on this piece? Because this is about 16 linear inches of weld seam. Probably a little bit more because you're rounding the corners on it and overlap and that type of stuff. But do you know what your per inch cost is running on your MIG welder? Do you know what your electrode cost is if you're using stick? If you're using filler rod, do you know what your per stick cost is on filler rod? I don't know what the answers are for you, because everybody's different. But that's just stuff you got to talk about, and maybe we'll talk about that more in depth at a later date. How to sit down and figure out what your costs are. Because if you're going to go to a bank and you're going to try to get them to give you some money, you better have numbers, and you better have valid numbers, and you better be able to convince them that your numbers are good, because they're just not gonna give money to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes down the street saying, I got a great idea. Stuff you got to think about. Anyways, I'm James. This is RATTLECAN Fab Shop, and that was something that just walked in the door. You guys have a good one. Cheers. I hope you found this episode educational or entertaining, or maybe even both. You might want to check this one out as well. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified when new videos drop, and if you've got comments, make sure you put them down beneath the sermon notes. Thanks for hanging out with us here at the RATTLECAN Fab Shop. Y'all have a good one. Cheers.